What's going on, everybody? Eric Barassa here, and have I got a gift for you today? All right, it's more of a gift from me, but I get to share it with you. I found this Parker Nitefly at the local Music Go Round resale shop about 2 miles away from my house. And longtime followers of this channel, all 5 of you, will know that I'm a huge fan of Parker guitars. I have some old videos of doing reviews of various Parker models. They're horrible. So hopefully this video is a little bit better than that. I am such a Parker junkie that anytime I find a Parker guitar out in the wild, I am prone to buy it. And I have owned a Nitefly before. It was like a 98 silver Nitefly hum single, and I adored it. And I was just kind of like, I don't need this many guitars, so I got rid of it. And I was like, oh no, that's one of the few that I wish I would not have sold. So I happened to find this one and paid an astronomical amount of money for it, in my opinion, because pre-pandemic, you could find a used Nitefly in pretty good condition for about $600. And this was $1,300 before tax. So after tax, you're looking at about $1,400, and that's about the going price of a used Parker Nitefly right now. It's crazy, but honestly, they are that good. So let's talk a little bit about what makes the Parker Nitefly unique and what kind of makes it cool to me. The first thing that I love about the Parker Nitefly is the resonance of it. So it's got this carbon fiber glass composite that covers the neck completely and the fretboard. So you can see, it doesn't feel like wood. It is made of wood underneath, but it's covered in this composite, and my whammy bar just fell out. So it's got a really unique, almost like metallic feel to it, but not in a weird way. When I play a single note, like on the 4th fret of the 3rd string, you can hear, even at that quiet volume, how much it resonates and it goes into those higher frequencies really easily, much more easily than a lot of other guitars. So check it out. When I do it with some distortion, so there are some spots on the guitar that resonate into those harmonic overtones better than others. But man, when you hit it, it's just like, oh, there's nothing like it. And there's really no other guitar that feels that way when you do it. And it's hard to put into words. Let me know in the comments below if you know exactly what I'm talking about and if you have a better way of describing kind of what's happening there. So here's what makes this different from the Parker Fly. The Parker Fly is covered in the carbon fiber glass composite all the way around, right, from head to toe, whereas this guy is a bolt-on, okay? It's a bolt-on neck, and so you might think, well, maybe it's less resonant than a Parker Fly. In my opinion, it's not. It's just as resonant, and it really kind of feels and sounds and plays the same way. Now, what's the other thing that's different is the neck is a little bit thicker, okay? The Fly is really thin and with a flat fretboard. Well, this has a super flat fretboard as well, but the neck is a little bit thicker, and I kind of like it. It's just a little bit different than the Fly. So depending on the kind of mood that I'm in, you know, especially if you want more of a chunkier, like bluesy kind of feel, it just lends itself to that. Also, the fret wires, which are made out of stainless steel, are, I believe, thicker than on the Fly. That's what I read in the manual. And so they're more conducive for like bending. I can't really tell a difference when I'm playing if the frets are taller or not. So I'd be curious to know what your experience has been with that, if you've played one of these. Okay, it's also got Spurzle locking tuners. I mean, that should come standard on every guitar ever made. They're perfect. So when it's time to change strings, all I do is you loosen it a couple notches, then you undo the back, you pull the string out, and you're done. And then when you get the new one, you string it through, tighten the back, tighten it a couple notches, and clip it. It's so much easier than a regular tuner, and it holds tune so dang well. The bridge has stainless steel saddles. I love the Parker bridge. It's the same as on like a Parker Fly, although instead of that hex stainless steel whammy bar, you've got this rounded stainless steel whammy bar. Boom, there it is. I believe this is made out of stainless steel. Let me know in the comments below if it's not, but it's a nice thick bar. I do prefer the whammy bar on the Parker Fly, especially because it stays in. I'm not sure if there's a way to tighten this here. And apparently this thing can do a floating bridge as well as a fixed position bridge, as well as doing down only. So you can set it so the whammy bar doesn't do anything. You can set it to where it goes down only, and you can set it to where it's floating. That I didn't know before reading the manual, but you have to tighten these stop screws in the back, I guess, to do it. I don't really want to mess with it. I like on my Fly how there's just a switch to go from down only to floating. But with this kind of guitar, this is kind of probably not the kind of guitar I would be doing a lot of floating playing on anyway. I would just be doing the, you know, like that down only kind of thing. So you've got your truss rod adjustment here. So you can, if you want to change the truss rod, you can do that here. You just put the little Allen wrench in and turn it which way you need to go. But the cool thing is, once the neck is set on a Parker, you should never have to adjust it again. On my 95 Fly, which I've had for over 10 years, I've never had to have the neck adjusted on it, not once. And literally every other guitar has needed that adjustment as the weather changes, right? So that's a really nice benefit. It's like the Ferrari of guitars. Okay, speaking of, let's get into this 5-way. We've got a 5-way position down here, right? We've got our humbucker, which in this case is like a PAF style, you know, whatever. I don't love these, but ooh. Looks like we got a little electronics issue that needs to be worked out. So we got our humbucker, we got position 2 splitting these guys, we've got our middle only, we've got our middle and neck split, and then we've got our neck only. Okay, and then from there, here's our master volume, here's our tone. Oh boy. Gets nice and dark and jazzy. And then over here, what we have is if we flip this switch all the way to the right, that gives us our piezo or our piezo. Tell me how to pronounce that. I've always pronounced it piezo, but I've heard it both ways. Those are these acoustic sounding pickups that kind of give you an acoustic feel. Now, plugged in through an electric amp, it's not going to sound quite as good, but you plug it in to a flat, like PA system speaker or an acoustic amp, holy cow, you can't tell the difference between this and an acoustic. But right now, you're not going to quite get that full feel. And then here's our volume for that. Does the tone? Yeah, so no tone control for the piezo, which is different than on the Parker Fly. The Parker Fly does have a tone control. It's got like a dual control where it does the volume and then you do the bigger part of it and it does the tone. So if I hit this button right here, that turns off the piezo pickups for that acoustic sound. Okay, and here it is back on. And if I put it in the middle, now I have both the piezo for the acoustic sound and the magnetic pickups for the electric sound. It's both. Now, how you would use that is the guitar comes with a stereo cable, which means it's got a single like input, and then it splits into a Y, so you can plug it into 2 different speakers. So I could plug one into an electric amp, and I could plug the other one into an acoustic amp, and it's usually labeled on the stereo cable which is which, so because you can get it backwards. And so the magnetic pickups get sent to the electric amp, and then the piezo pickups get sent to the acoustic amp or the PA system, whatever you're going through. And you can blend them and run them at the same time. And that's really cool. Dave Martone will use that sometimes in his solos, where it sounds like there's an acoustic and an electric guitar double tracking the solo. You can also just use that to kind of fatten up your rhythm playing and those textures. And but there were some times back in the day when I'd play these gigs where sometimes the acoustic guitarist couldn't be there, and so then we would get to run me stereo, and we'd have the acoustic and the electric. And so sometimes when it's acoustic only, I'd roll off the magnetic pickups and just strum, and then I would roll them in, flip off the other one, and sometimes do both. It's really, really cool and versatile if you use it. But I don't know a lot of Parker players that use both. So let me know if you're one of them. Okay, and then here in the back, we've got our battery compartment for the 9-volt battery. Oh, and it looks like my guitar was made in maybe the year 2000. So based on the serial number, where they say the first 2 numbers are the month of the year, and then it comes, the next number is the year, and then the last 3, that's what number it was in the month of how many were made. So according to my serial number, this was made in the 60th month of the year 2000, and then it was the 123rd guitar made for that month. More than likely, I'm going to go on a limb and say that it was June, that it was the 6th month of the year. The 2 zeros are for the year 2000. Okay, so this is pre-refined. That means this was made during the Ken Parker years. After 2003, I think, is when they sold to Washburn. And then that's when everybody says they went downhill. And then that's when I made my most hated and yet most popular YouTube video of all time, why the new Parker flies are better than the pre-refined Parker flies. Everybody hates that video. It's really, really split. Anyway, so this is pre-refined. So, whew, all you Parker purists can rest assured I didn't buy one of the blasphemous models. All right, so let's get into some of the sounds. Okay, so we have a couple of aftermarket pickups here. We've got this like single coil PAF that I don't love, but you know, here's kind of what it sounds like. Here's our position 2, kind of what that sounds like. Here's our single on the clean. Here's our neck and middle split. And then here's our neck. This is an aftermarket pickup. It's a mini humbucker. right, so more than likely what's going to happen is, just because I have no business spending this kind of money on a guitar right now, I'm going to sell this here pretty soon. I'll probably play with it for a few more weeks and then sell it. It's going to be hard to sell because I really like this guitar. But if I was going to keep this guitar, I would replace this humbucker with a JB, a Seymour Duncan JB, which is my favorite bridge pickup. I would keep this middle pickup. I think it's probably the original. I have no reason to believe it's not. That would probably just stay. And then I would replace this neck pickup and put a single coil pickup in there, because I don't usually prefer. I usually like a single coil in the neck position. So, like I said, these things are hard to find right now, especially in the local market. I had to take it home and play with it and have some fun with it for a while. I've really enjoyed playing on this guitar. I think it's got 10s on it right now, which I really like. If I was going to keep it, I would keep the 10s on it, because all my other guitars have 9s. And then this one, I like it with the 10s. It really just feels right. So I'm going to be reluctant to sell this guitar, but another one will come up in the wild. Hopefully I'm not kicking myself in 5 years, because now they're even more rare and they've shot up to $4,000 a pop on average, but that's it. So this is the Parker Nitefly. If you're a fan of the Parker Fly and you really like Parkers, then this is definitely a guitar you want to have in your stable. So that's my thought there. What do you think about the Parker Nitefly? You guys, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm getting those new Satriani pickups installed in my Satriani guitar here shortly. They have arrived, so very excited about that. Stay tuned for more, and I'll see you next time.